Hello. Thank you, Stephanie, for the intro. Thank you all for joining. We'll take about maybe 30 minutes of your time today just to really go over the Nitro Pro product and Nitro Cloud as a suite as a whole, and take any questions that you might have, and overall just a very basic introduction into Nitro. This is a very brief agenda again, which I just went over, that we'll be going over today. That kind of shows a brief product presentation of our product, going over Nitro Pro 10, and taking any questions again. So I'll go ahead and start. So really, what our goal at Nitro is to help people accelerate the way they do businesses. And we do this by realizing that, or we're trying to do this because we've realized a lot of companies and a lot of users face a lot of document challenges. And on average, most people spend a quarter of their functional working day time dealing with document challenges. That if they're creating a document, scanning a document, or printing a document, whichever which way they're handling documents is, a little bit of efficiency that's costing quite a bit of time. And a lot of business leaders or organizational leaders are trying to find ways to fix that, to tackle that challenge. And that's one of the things that we strive to help resolve at Nitro. And as you can see this stat here, it says about 21% of workers are robbed of their overall productivity, and this is according to the International Data Corporation, the research they did back in 2012. And there's some other stats that kind of support this as well. As you can see, about 90% of workers, they conduct their business via email. Their document, anything that has to do with documents that includes a PO, includes a contract that needs approval of some sort. And the hindrance here is that a lot of times it's taken hours, days, and sometimes weeks to even tackle or complete the process of dealing with a document. Someone creates a document or a contract that needs to be signed or authored by someone else. They're not quite sure if the person has seen the document or if the person has accessed the document, and the person is in the process of signing that contract. And with the suite of Nitro Pro's products, we're trying to give you more insight into that process. So what we're hearing from over 500,000 customers that we currently have is that conversions, creations, and document insight is really what a lot of them are looking for. They're looking for something that gives them an edge in making sure that every single document process that they're involved with is dealt with in a timely manner and is done in a secure manner as well. So how do we help you accelerate this? Right, the document touches pretty much all departments within a company, from IT, where their main goal is to make sure that they're providing value to all the relevant knowledge workers within the company. They're the ones who touch the document whether they have to use it or not. So we want to make sure that there's a great alignment between the business initiative and the IT initiative as well. There's sales from an internal and external standpoint that's working with the document when trying to actually sell your product to your end users and customers dealing with the PLs, and sometimes delays occur because they're not quite sure if their end customers are actually looking at their contract. Same thing goes for procurement. Procurement wants to move fast so they can move things on to finance, and if there's no insight or there's no rapid movement on a document or a contract, it slows the close cycle and slows everything else within the company, therefore inherently affecting your revenue as well. And you have HR as well, who's dealing with onboarding tasks. They're dealing with offer letters for a person. They're dealing with benefits. They're dealing with healthcare or anything else that they might be dealing with, and they might have a general assembly of sorts where they describe all these particulars to folks, but they don't actually know if folks are actually going in and looking at those documents and those contracts that they want them to review within a timely manner. And within Nitro Pro and Cloud, we help you create all those documents within a singular domain and share it within a singular domain as well. So what's currently being done now, as most of you can probably relate to, is you create a document in a PDF application or a Word application. You scan that document, if it's not going to be authored on your end, and then you collaborate with it on someone within your department or a sister department. And then after that's done, you print that again. You edit it again. If you're sending it to someone else, it's scanned again because you want it to come back into your computer so you can send that off, or you can do whatever it is you need to do with it. And then if it's in the case where you're signing a document in a procurement scenario or contract scenario, you have to sign the document, then you have to print it again, and then you have to either convert it into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever format it is that's appropriate for you, and then you print that document again. So you can see it's not a very efficient process. And this, in most cases, is what costs a lot of people that 11 hours out of a 40-hour work week that they're dealing with, just very, very time-consuming and inefficient ways of handling a document. And what we try to do with Nitro is give you a new way. The Nitro is essentially trying to make everything contained within a single domain, and an electronic domain, if you may, where we allow you to create the document, allow you to collaborate on that document within Nitro Pro as well, and allow you to manage that document so you can see who's actually working on the document. You can govern and notify the individuals that need to partake in the signing or the collaborative process of the document lifecycle. And it allows you to track that as well, so you can see who actually has access to it and who is authorized to have access to the document. So what does this end up doing, right? It ends up helping the IT department by increasing adoption and making the end user self-sufficient because of how easy it is to use Nitro, which we will demonstrate in a minute. It helps sales close deals faster. It helps the HR department increase their integrity on the content that they're sharing with folks because they know that the right people are actually looking at those documents. And it helps procurement, again, gain more visibility into the stages and status of deals that are being worked on. So how do we do this? We do this with our suite of products. Nitro software company as a whole, we have two main flagship products, which is Nitro Pro and Nitro Cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, both products work in tandem to help you accelerate the way you're doing businesses when creating documents, collaborating documents, and managing those documents anywhere and at any time. And I'm going to show you in a little quick second how we do this, but I'm just going to go over really briefly the, kind of the user interface and the experience you should expect when using Nitro when creating documents. So Nitro Pro is our core PDF application that allows you to create documents. You can combine documents, you can merge documents, you can edit them, and we have a very, very cool application which we call our OCR, which is our optical character recognition, that allows you to eliminate a lot of the stages that I mentioned earlier, that allows you to scan a document, whether it's a text document, an image document, it allows you to edit those documents quite seamlessly using Nitro. And we allow you to collaborate on this on that document because we have a seamless integration with Nitro Cloud that allows you to make the necessary edits that you have to make to a document, then share that document with, with the particular parties. So you can actually protect the content by preventing who can copy the document, who can print the document, and who can actually sign the document as well. And with Nitro Cloud, you can manage that content by determining the appropriate folks that should have access to that document from within Nitro Cloud, from within the singular domain, actually. You can actually determine custom workflows of how you want to route a document when it's authored or signed by one person to the next. And you can also add rights management to the application to make sure that the right person who you have a recognized digital signature or digital ID with has access to that document. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go over a quick demo of our Nitro application and show you how we work with a simple contract and how we edit that contract within Nitro and get it, over to a partner that we want to work with. So we can switch to the application really quickly. And this is Nitro Pro. So I have a very, very basic partner agreement contract right here within Nitro and ABC companies. And obviously this is a dummy contract, so please ignore any of the particular contents you see in there because it's really not meant to make sense. It's just really to demonstrate the features within Nitro. So I don't have a contractor name. Let's say the contractor I'm working with is Stephanie. And let's say I had a name in here in the past. I would simply go into my home tab right here and click type text, and I would add Stephanie's name. Right? And let's say I was working with someone else and Stephanie wasn't actually the right person that she's working with, and it's Jane Smith. It's very simple. I would open this document as I just did, go in there and delete Stephanie's name and add, let's say it would be Jane Smith or somebody else. Okay. Very, very simple, very intuitive. And sorry, I forgot to mention, as you can see, the user interface on here is very, very similar to the Microsoft Office ribbon, and that's done quite intentionally. Actually, sometimes when I first started working at Nitro, I would confuse Nitro Pro with PowerPoint because the user interface is very, very simple. The home, edit, review, and all the tab buttons are very similar in place, similar to where most Microsoft Office applications are placed, thereby allowing you to reduce, your learning curve when trying to use Nitro, but also letting you be familiar with where intuitive tools that you're familiar with in other applications would lie within Nitro. So sorry I didn't mention that earlier. So quite simple. So here I've added that the contracted person, the contract I'm working with is Jane Smith. I want to add a start date. Start date would be August 4th, 2015. And very simple end termination services, payment terms. And I wanted to add my signature here. So we have, a signature field within Nitro, which is our quick sign field that allows me to create custom signatures. So I can use the signature because I work with this on a regular basis and just drag that and stamp my signature on there. But if I wanted to create, if I haven't done this before and I want to create a brand new signature, it's very, very simple. I'll click on the create new signature here. We do it in one of the few ways. So we could use a webcam, that's me. Don't know if you guys want to see that, but you could use handwritten, and I could type, a new signature there and, John Doe, whatever I wanted to use. Or you can select one from a file. If you have something saved somewhere, you can browse, for that signature and anywhere you might have had that located. Or you can draw. If you're someone who has very good penmanship or calligraphy, you can, I suck at it, so I wouldn't do it. But yeah, very simple ways that you can create a signature, very intuitive, and you can also password protect that signature as well. So if you're someone who maybe shares your computer with the same login with multiple people, you want to make sure that any contract, any document that's worked on within Nitro isn't misrepresented, you can password your signature. So whomever has to use your signature has to know your password to access that. So just by clicking on here and clicking require password and adding the password. Okay, so I've added my signature. I want to add my name, contract, and I also want to add my title, actually civil engineer. And so I want to share this with somebody at ABC company, and I obviously have to send this off to somebody. And it's quite simple to do this, and this is what we were talking about, or what I was talking about earlier, trying to keep documents within a singular domain. So what we do here is we integrate with Nitro Cloud, which is our collaboration tool, and it's very easy to do that. So as you can see to the right top, to the top right of my Nitro application, I can log into my Nitro Cloud application by just clicking Login, and it's going to ask me for my email address. And it's going to ask me for my password. So right now I'm logged into that application, and this application allows me to share this document with anyone within my company or outside my company that I want to share this contract with. So I want to get this contract signed by Jane Smith at ABC Company. So I simply just click on the Cloud tab right here. Once I click on that tab, I can select any one of the collaborative tools that I want to do. So do I want to request a signature? Do I just want to share this document, or do I want someone to look over this document and tell me if there are errors to the contract terms or particulars that I should have added that I did not, or particulars that I should remove that I did not? So in this case, I want to request a signature. I'll click on Request Signature. I'm going to save any edits I've made to that file in the interim, and to the right of my screen, it's going to put up a pane that's going to ask me for the name of the recipient or whom I'm going to be sharing this with. So my colleague Stephanie is in the room, so she's going to act as Jane Smith, aka. So I'm going to add Stephanie's name here. And sorry, since I've worked with Stephanie before, it pops up as a signer, and I'm going to add her name. I'm sorry, if I wanted to add someone else again as well, let's say I have another colleague here named Stephanie Camacho, but no, I don't really want to add anyone else. Stephanie Todd is really the only person I want to work with here. Simply just going to click Continue. and it's going to take me to our collaborative tool. And in this collaborative tool, it's going to ask me for the workflow that I want to include, or I want to initiate it within Nitro Cloud. So it's going to ask me, do I need to sign this document, or do others need to sign this document? So since I've already signed this document on the Nitro Cloud application, I just need Stephanie to sign this contract. I'm going to click Continue, and it's going to take me to the next stage. This is where I have to prepare this document to be signed. And it's very, very simple and very intuitive. All I simply have to do is simply just add to the application the places where I want Stephanie to sign. So I'm going to drag the signature field right here and add it here. I'm going to also drag her name, the name field, and add it here. I'm also going to drag the title and add it here. So since I've prepared the document essentially for it to be signed by Stephanie, I'm going to send this out. And I do apologize, I actually used the older version of the document, and I can add my credentials later. And I'm simply just going to click Continue. I'll save the version and click Continue. And then it's going to ask me if I want to add any notes to this message that I'm sending to Stephanie, to ask her any particular or instructor and anything I needed to do within the contract. I don't really have anything. I'm just saying, can you please sign the ABC company contract and send this off by hitting request signature at the bottom right. And what happens is, after this process is completed, to the right of my screen, you can actually see the steps that have been taken within this document so far. So I've viewed the document. I've already placed the signature field, and I've added the signature. I've sent the signature request to Stephanie. So Stephanie is going to look at that document, and she's going to sign the document. And what happens is, at each time, if I had multiple people involved within this process, each time someone accessed that document and looked at it or made any changes to it, I will get a notification letting me know that the document has been viewed or the document has been signed. And the benefit to this is for your team. If you have a group of folks in sales, you have a group of folks in marketing or HR or procurement, is that it allows folks to know how that document is progressing, right? So if someone who's in sales, July 31st, and you want to know if someone is going to sign that contract or not, they can simply go into their Nitro Cloud application and look at that particular contract and view to see if the person who they send the document to is actually looking at the contract or not. If the person is stalled, if the person is forwarded the contract to someone else, they can get all that insight here and can follow up intuitively on the next steps that need to be accomplished within this process. So I'm just waiting on Stephanie to sign this document, and I'm going to refresh my page really quickly. It will let me know. Yes. So Stephanie has viewed this document, and she has signed this document, and as you can see, at the bottom right, you can see her signature, and you can see her name and title as well. So very simple process, from start to finish. If I wasn't describing this process, it probably would have taken me about 3 minutes to accomplish this, if not less. That's very, very simple process within the suite of Nitro products, how we like to work, making sure everything is within a singular domain. Compared to how this would have worked alternatively, you would have sent this up to someone via email. The person would have looked at the contract, signed the contract. They would have had to print it out. They would have to print the document, sign it, then scan it again, and then send it to you via email, which could get lost in spam or whatever the case might be. And a key thing to note is that the person who is signing this document outside of your company doesn't have to have a Nitro Cloud account. They just simply have to be able to obviously receive this and look at that contract, go to the unique secure HTTP link that's sent to the customer, and they can just sign that contract quite easily. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation. Move to the next. So we talked about the suite of products. And one of the great things to note is the security component to this, because some of the concerns that some folks do tend to have is how secure is this. Now, you can password any document that you've created within Nitro Pro. We have encryption that's as high as 56-bit AES encryption, and we have that same level of encryption within Nitro Cloud as well. And you can do this. You can also use certificate-based security. You can use a digital signature. You can use a quick signature, a quick sign signature if you want. And we integrate quite seamlessly with Google Drive, Dropbox, and as well as other DNS applications like SharePoint, WorkSite, Hummingbird. And the Nitro Cloud side of things is a very secure application. We make sure all documents that are created by within the U.S. reside within the U.S. as well. And for those who work in sales or in marketing that work with online-based CRM applications like Salesforce and NetSuite, we integrate quite seamlessly with those applications as well. So I'm going to give you just, real brief case study of some of the customers that we currently work with. So the European Parliament is one of our biggest clients. They have over 10,000 licenses with us and use it in a desktop and in a server environment. And the critical success measures that they had was they just wanted something that was uniform and something that they know was going to be easy for all of their folks, all of the, those were in the capital or where the European Parliament is seated in Belgium to be able to have access, or those who work remotely at all their United Nations of the European, all the nations of the European Union to work with, and also make sure that it was saving them a ton of time. And after we deployed this, we did kind of a quick survey with one of our AEs in Europe, making sure to kind of determine how much time we were saving them by deploying Nitro Pro over any other standard application they were using, and the projected number of hours we were saving the EU Parliament as a whole was over 200,000 hours. So it was something they were quite appreciative with, and something that they've continued to deploy even as recently as last week. And another user that we have is AdRoll, which is not too far from us from our head office, is a company that's using 400,000 licenses. And they use this primarily to collaborate. So they create documents in PDF, or they create them actually primarily in Word and then convert them to PDF and have those documents and contracts sent out via Nitro Cloud. And they have, again, over 400 people that are doing this on a daily basis. And the critical points of success was simply just a simple process that would eliminate a paper system for them, and it's something that they've been quite happy with, that they've been using for quite a few years now. And they've noticed that one of the biggest points that their CEO likes is the increased turnaround that they've had on contracts that have had, outstanding with their partners as well. So why Nitro as a whole? It's quite easy to implement. The user interface is bar none the best PDF user interface that you have that you would work with in the market. It has a rich and complete functionality. It is quite secure. As I mentioned earlier, we have an encryption as high as 256-bit AES. We have different RMS integrations as well. You can digitally sign a document and make sure that whomever is authoring that document is that actual particular person based on the number of measures that are associated with the digital signature. And it's at a great value, in most cases at a third of the cost of the leading PDF solution out there. So we're going to take any questions now. If anyone does have any questions about the suite of products, we'll take them now. Other than that, thank you very much.
So great, thanks so much, Benedict. We have a first question here from Claire. Is it necessary to have Nitro Cloud in order to request signatures on a document created in Nitro Pro?
Yes. So we do offer the product as standalone products. We do have a new product that we're calling Pro Plus that we have launched exclusively in the U.S. that allows you to have both featured under a single price. But for our larger customers, if you're an enterprise customer, we do kind of have them placed differently. And the only reason why is because most enterprise customers don't want, most of their users being able to send off documents just for security purposes. But primarily, they are two standalone products. So depending on your policy within your company, you can actually get a version of our product that comes with Nitro Pro and Cloud, and a version that comes standalone, which is Nitro Pro, and one which is Nitro Cloud.
Great. So we actually have a few people asking about this, and it's the functionality of converting PDF files back to maybe Excel or Word or anything along those lines. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. So we definitely do a seamless job of converting from a PDF to, we actually integrate with over 50 different file formats. from Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and image files like TIFF, PNG, etc. But specifically with specifically with Excel files, we do convert quite seamlessly. Now, there are instances where an Excel file is actually very feature-rich, that it might have images, it might have JavaScript or any other sort of macromedia attached to it. That might be a little bit more complicated, but we always like to recommend that very standard documents that are created in Excel that don't have a lot of formatting, you shouldn't have any problem converting those documents.
Fantastic. Are there any limits to the number of signatures you can have in one document?
No.
Great.
Well, actually, I actually take that back. So it depends on the price tier that you have in our enterprise accounts, which is the folks who tend to get this solution. No, we do not. But for other price tiers, we do have limits on signatures that you can have within a calendar month.
Gotcha. We've had a few questions asking if we will be distributing a recording of this, and just to let you guys know, we are recording, and I will be doing the editing process soon, and we'll get you a copy shortly if you want to pass on to any colleagues that you have. We have a question here about, it appears the document quality is lower. Is that a known issue? Actually, I think, and Benedict, feel free to jump in here, but I believe that it actually might just be the video quality. I think our quality is the same, right?
Yeah, our quality is quite comparable to anything you might have out there. I actually don't like comparing it in most cases because I do think it's better. And if you're referring to maybe the quality after a document, if for the person who asked this question, if you've used Nitro in the past about conversions or things of that nature, our conversion quality is very good. We make sure that whatever original content that you're trying to convert, the converted version is as close to it as possible. And obviously, in most cases, or in a lot of cases, there's a little bit of a disparity, but I would say 9 out of 10, the quality is comparable to the original content.
Great. And it looks like we have time for one more question. There are actually a lot in here, so if we didn't address your question live, we'll be sure to email you a response. Last question, how is it possible to merge multiple PDF files using Nitro?
Yes, it is. And I can actually do a quick demo here if you want. So I'm going to go back into my Nitro application. So I have the Nitro contract open here. If I go back to my home page, we have a feature that we call Combine feature. So if I have to click on this, it's going to ask me, what files do I want to combine. So I'm going to click on this drop down here to add files, and let's say, I have a bunch of different documents I have in my folder. I can click on this document here, and I can also click on the open file. So the open file right now that I have is the ABC company contract that I have and another untitled document. But I don't really want this document in the middle because it's really just a blank sheet. I can simply just remove it by clicking on it and clicking the remove button here. And I can also move the order in which I want these contracts to be. So right now ABC is the last document. If I want it to be the first, I simply just move it over, and it's one up, and click create. And as you can see, now I have both contracts as one single document. Very simple.
Fantastic. Well, I wanted to thank everybody so much for joining us today. Like I said, we'll get you a recording as soon as possible. And Benedict, thank you so much for a great demo. We really appreciate everybody's time. Have a great day.
Cheers.